Today, let us talk about a very interesting story from the Buddhist scriptures. The protagonist of this story is Bao Hai Tongzi, the treasure ocean youth. His life can be described as a continuous series of miracles. This content is provided by the Buddha Activity Association of Australia. As we go along, we will find that this story is not only miraculous, but it also hides deep truths about our blessings, wisdom, and the ultimate goals of our lives. Let us take a look. Alright, let us dive straight into the extraordinary life story of Bao Hai. You know, his life started with a string of miracles, the kind that makes everyone stare in disbelief, wondering how such a thing is even possible. So, what exactly happened? The story begins in the home of a super wealthy benefactor, a man whose riches could rival an entire nation. When his wife became pregnant, strange things started to happen. Various auspicious signs began to appear throughout the palace, as if heaven and earth were telling you, pay attention. A child with an extraordinary destiny is about to arrive. Can you imagine the scene? When he was born, his body was spotlessly clean, and he naturally came with jewels and celestial robes. His bed was instantly upgraded to a jeweled bed, and a palace and a pagoda emerged right beside him. Even celestial beings and non-human spirits came to serve him. From the moment he was born, everyone knew in their hearts, this was definitely not an ordinary child. All of this was actually the manifestation of his massive, innate blessings merit. His father named him Bao Hai, which means the ocean of treasures. Even the name was grand. He grew up rapidly under the care of 8 nannies. Just like a lotus flower in the seashore, he grew up in an instant. Furthermore, his learning ability was incredible. He seemed to master literature and medicine without any effort at all. His father even built 4 different palaces for him, one for each season: spring, summer, autumn, and winter, allowing him to enjoy the kind of happiness that we mortals can't even imagine. His blessings had truly reached the pinnacle of the human world. Not only was his life extremely luxurious, but even celestial maidens descended to serve him. Isn't that wild? But here is where the interesting part comes in. Although he possessed everything everyone in the world could ever want, a deep realization began to quietly sprout in his heart. And this realization was the turning point of the entire story. He began to feel, I have enjoyed enough of these human and heavenly blessings. All of this will eventually disappear. It is not eternal. Thus, a very strong thought arose in his mind. I must leave the home life, renounce. I must find a way to truly end the suffering of the cycle of birth and death. So, he gave away all his wealth and became a monk under the Buddha. However, the strangest thing happened again. Even though he was now a monk, those jewels and the palaces, the manifestations of his blessings, continued to follow him every day. He couldn't get rid of them. This actually became a major distraction on his path of cultivation. Isn't that ironic? What was he to do? The Buddha gave him a piece of advice. It was very simple. The Buddha said, just visualize and keep thinking in your heart. None of this is what I need. Bao Hai did exactly as he was told. And it worked. All those miraculous signs and auspicious phenomena disappeared. From then on, he could finally practice in peace. And eventually, he attained the stage of an arhat, meaning he became a holy being who is completely liberated and free from all afflictions. At this point, the other monks watching were stunned and full of questions. They went to ask the Buddha the question everyone was most curious about. Word-honored one, how did Bao Hai acquire such exaggeratedly large blessings in this life? And why was his resolve to practice so firm? Where did this all come from? That was an excellent question. So, the Buddha began to reveal the true secret behind the story's source. It turns out that all of this could be traced back to a very long time ago, during the time of Kasyapa Buddha. Through a very important past life connection, the Buddha explained that Bao Hai's blessings weren't accidental. In a past life, he had done 4 very important things. He generously made offerings of food and beds to Kasyapa Buddha and his disciples. He built a pagoda to enshrine the Buddha's hair and nails. He very meticulously added a cover to the top of the pagoda to protect it from being soiled by bird droppings. You see, his virtuous actions were a complete set, performed with great sincerity. But the most important part was the fourth step. This step can be called the soul of the entire story. He made a very perfect vow. Look at his vow. He didn't just say, I hope to be rich and noble in the future. No, it wasn't just that. His most crucial sentence was, may I use these blessings to be able to live the home life and practice in the era of the future Sakyamuni Buddha, and finally attain arhatship. See, he perfectly tied blessings and liberation together. So, speaking of this, the story of Bao Hai actually brings out a question we often discuss and sometimes even argue about when studying Buddhism or practicing. Does pursuing worldly blessings like money, status, or a good life hinder one's practice? Many people's first reaction is, of course it does. They feel that pursuing these things will definitely distract a person and make them lose the desire to practice. But Bao Hai's story gives us a deeper, different answer. The key difference never lies in whether the blessings themselves are good or bad, but in our vow. What is our intention, bodhicitta, motivation? If your vow is not perfect, incomplete, and you only want to enjoy yourself, then when these blessings come, they truly become a trap that makes you sink into them and forget to practice. But if your vow is perfect, complete, and you hope for blessings so that you can practice better and move toward liberation, then these blessings will instead become the most powerful supportive conditions on your path. It is just like planting something. Whatever seed you sow, that is the fruit you will harvest in the future. Our vow is that seed. There is a very important concept in Buddhism called the law of cause and effect. Even the Buddha cannot change it. If the seed you planted was simply I want to be rich and enjoy life, then unfortunately, the only harvest you will get in the future is being rich and enjoying life, nothing else. So, let us string all these clues together to see what the core inspiration of Bao Hai's story really is. This core inspiration is captured in 4 words. The perfection of both fortune and wisdom. This means that blessings and wisdom must be perfected at the same time. They are not in conflict. Rather, they are like the 2 wings of a bird. If you want to fly high on the path of awakening, you cannot do without either wing. Think about it. If you only have blessings but no wisdom to guide you, those blessings can easily become a trap that leads to your downfall. Conversely, if you only have wisdom but no blessings to serve as your provisions, resources, then your journey to practice or help others might be very difficult. Even the great bodhisattvas spend an immense amount of time practicing giving dana to accumulate vast merit, so that they have enough resources and ability to help all living beings. Therefore, we must truly understand that under the guidance of a correct intention and wisdom, working hard to cultivate blessings is definitely not a worldly pursuit. It is a fundamental and indispensable task on the path of cultivation. The story of Bao Hai is like a mirror reflecting our own inner hearts. It invites us to think, what are the vows we make today? What is the purpose behind the things we work so hard on every day? Is it to pursue those fleeting, short-lived pleasures? Or is it for that more long-term, eternal awakening? The choice we make carries a power that will not only determine the appearance of this life but will also influence the journey of our lives for generations to come.